Everyone, welcome back to Sweet Yellow House, and it is time for our Friday craft. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. It really helps us out and lets us know that you like what we're doing. So let's get started with project 1. For this project, we're going to be making a cute little Christmas sign. We're going to be using this figgy pudding transfer pack from IOD, and also this burlap covered canvas that we got from Hobby Lobby. And we're just going to pick out some transfers from this pack and get them on this little canvas. This is a very quick, fast project that doesn't really take much of anything. Everything is pretty much already set for you, so if you needed to make something really in a hurry for a gift or just to put up in your home for some fast decorating, this would actually do the trick. Once I get those transfers where I wanted them, I grabbed a little bundle of some Christmas greenery and began to cut that apart to put around the sign. I grabbed some ribbon, burlap ribbon with a red stripe, and I made a quick bow here, and I cinched that up with a zip tie that I got from the dollar store, a pack from there, and just began to kind of fit that bow where I wanted it. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents. Zip ties are a quick way to make a bow, and then you can just cover the zip tie up with a piece of ribbon, and it holds everything into place, and it just makes it a lot easier. I'm not a great bow maker, but using zip ties help kind of make the job easier for me. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink hot chocolate by the fire. All I want is to spend this day. Project 2 I really like. I do a lot of these and use them to decorate for all seasons, but I'm taking these 2 candle holders that I thrifted and also these baskets that I got from the dollar store. So the first thing I'm going to do is take them outside, the candle holders, and spray those. I'm also going to spray a couple of lids, canning lids, like mason jar lids. I'm going to spray all of those with the Bear Spray Paint Matte Black. And once those are dry, I'm going to mark the canning lids for center, and that way I can drill those in the middle. But I'm going to use my Big Bite to start that hole and punch it through, and this makes it a lot easier to get that job done. Once I got the holes punched, I'm going to use my glue gun, and I'm going to glue those lids into place, and using a lot of glue, as you'll see here. The Gorilla Glue actually makes that really easy, and it holds really well. All I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. You'll see here when I put this second lid on that I actually used this dotting tool to line up the hole in the candle holder that I drilled earlier and the hole that's in the lid. So now that I have those in place, I'm going to get a washer, and I'm going to use that and then put the screw down in there, and the washer is going to keep the screw from coming through the basket. And I'm going to drill those down into place so they're sturdy, and then I'm going to take that outside and spray paint it again with the Bear Black to kind of conceal that washer and screw. These baskets are really great for displaying, or even, you know, giving like a little gift basket in them that you're
your person can use for something else, and they just suit all kinds of seasons. I really love making them. Project 3 is a metal cake plate that I've had in my stash for a while. I believe I got it at the Goodwill, and the first thing I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to spray it with this paint primer combo in a flat white. Once I got that all sprayed, I'm going to bring it inside and I'm going to grab my Christmas Valley iodtransfer pack, and I'm going to begin choosing some transfers that I want to apply to the cake plate. And here you just see that I'm kind of going through. I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to put on there. I know I want to put something on the top, so I have to find something to fit that. And then I also want to put something on the pedestal foot down on the bottom. So once I've selected what I'm going to do, what transfers I'm going to use, I'm just going to start then transferring that right onto the cake plate.
Let's go outside, the snow is falling down and every child is having so much fun. The snowman is twice the size as me.
Once I get the transfers where I wanted this to look like some old enamel, so I grabbed my iodine ink pad and then the ink in black, and I'm going to use that just to make some black marks around the edge so it looks like the enamel is chipping off of there. And I just do that in a couple of places where I feel like it would have worn over time. Once that's dry, I'm going to grab my big top and I'm actually going to go and put a couple of coats of that and then let it dry. And the big top is natural. I think you can use it it's food safe, but I'm just going to use this as a riser, only because I think cutting on it or something might in the long run damage that that transfer and that seal. Project 4 is this little vase. I believe I got it a little plant in here at some time, so I just want to repurpose that, and I'm going to use some of this yellow paint and mix with some white and mix it into a lighter yellow. I'm also going to add some baking soda into that to give it some thickness, and I want to give this little vase a lot of texture. I want it to look more like a stoneware type vase, and that's why I'm adding quite a bit of baking soda to that, and I do about 3 layers, letting it dry in between each coat so that way the texture just keeps stacking on itself. Now I'm going to grab my Christmas Valley, and again I'm just going to pick out some elements from there that I feel like would look good, and I decided on a piece of holly that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to put that down. I didn't seal this before I put the transfer down, but it didn't really have a problem sticking. It didn't stick totally great, but it did transfer on there. I didn't have a problem with it coming off, but I made sure that after I got that down where I wanted, that I did go over it with liquid patina, and I put about 3 coats on that, and I just put a smidge of water in there with it just to kind of loosen it up. So as I'm putting that down, I'm making sure that I'm pressing that transfer in, and what I'm going for here is that I want that transfer to look like it's actually part of that little vase. I don't want it to look like a transfer on there. I want it to look like it was hand painted. So once I got that on there and it was dry, I decided to go over it with some white and clear wax that I mixed together. And this is going to do a couple of things. It's going to bring the brightness of that yellow down, and it's also going to put another protective coat over that. Once I start putting on the white wax, I just put some on and then I just wipe it back and I just make my way around the base. Once I got all of that put on, I then grabbed 3 different waxes, the antique, the white, and the clear that I always have mixed up together, and I began to add that and then take it back with a paper towel. And I want this to kind of look like a wash on there, you know, like a stucco wash finish. And I think that having that all mixed together, I don't get a really dark antique. I just get enough to kind of camouflage the newness of the vase. And what I'm doing is I'm putting it down and then I'm using the paper towel to kind of feather that out from there. All I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. And that came out with a really nice finish. I was super happy with that. Project 5 is not necessarily a Christmas item, but it is an item that I am making for a Christmas gift. So I started out with this little wood type frame sign, and I made some a combination of the baking soda and burlap, and I'm just doing a base coat on this. I spray painted it black some time ago but never finished it, so I'm adding this burlap baking soda combo to start giving it some texture, and then I'm going to build on that. So now that that's dry, I'm grabbing the amazing cast resin, and I'm grabbing some iodmoulds, and I think I have one Prima mold in there. And basically I'm grabbing all of these because they have some kind of flower rose elements, and I'm just going to begin to make many different sizes of roses, flowers, and leaves to put onto my sign. The pink molds I grabbed from, I honestly don't remember. I've had these for so many years, but maybe Etsy, I want to say. I used to use them for making soap molds, so they came in handy for this. So as I'm getting those castings collected, I start to actually place those onto my dried sign there, and I'm just placing those and kind of trying to make a design that is pleasing. Once I get those placed where I want, I'm just taking my Titebond and I'm gluing those into place, and I'm letting them sit overnight. Then I'm going to grab my DIY letterpress gray and faded burlap, and I'm going to get a cup for each of these, and I'm going to mix that with some baking soda. I'm doing a pretty heavy mixture of the baking soda to paint ratio because I want a lot of texture for this. So before I start painting though, I make sure that my glue is set up and pretty well dry. I'm grabbing a small paintbrush, and I'm going to start with the letterpress, the darker gray, and I grabbed a small paintbrush because I have a lot of little crevices here, and this is just going to make my job easier of getting that paint in there. You want to make sure that you are turning this picture every which way, because there's so many little crevices and grooves and stuff from those castings that you may think that you got it all, but then you turn it in a different direction and see that you have missed some little pieces there. So I'm just making sure that I'm pouncing that on and getting into those little grooves and crevices to get everything covered, and I'm making sure that I'm putting a lot of texture down.
'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you.
I start to let that dry very well, and then I go back and look at it, and I see that I have a few spots that I've missed. So I'm grabbing my letterpress gray paint, no baking soda mixed in, just the paint, and I'm just touching up the little spots that I missed. Once I got that all done, I grabbed the burlap mixture with the baking soda, the burlap gray paint from IOD, and I mixed that together pretty heavily that you saw earlier. And what I'm doing is just more or less a dry brush with that paint over the highlights of the roses that are there. I start off pretty light doing that, and then as I get things kind of set where I want, I just start to put a little bit heavier coat there. But I'm not making it full coverage, so it's completely covering up that dark gray. Once I get that down, it dries pretty quick because you're just kind of dry brushing over it. And so I just kind of bring it in and touch it up where I think it needs a little bit more of that dry brushing treatment there. And then I let it dry, and it dries fairly quickly because it's a really thin coat. And I grab the white and the clear wax mixture that I have from earlier, and I'm going to use that, and I'm going to go over in between everything. So once that wax starts coming down and it's still wet, it looks very white, but as it dries, it becomes more translucent, and you really aren't able to tell that there's white wax on there. It's very subtle. Once I get that white and clear all applied, I go and I grab the antique wax that I mixed with the white and clear, and I start laying that down in some of the crevices using a very small thin brush. So this is the mixture of the white clear and antiquing wax, and I'm using that, and I'm just putting that into all the crevices where I think that like I guess antique would sit. And so I'm just making sure I'm pushing that into the crevices of the frame and the flowers. Anywhere that I feel like I've gotten a little too heavy-handed, I'm just using this paper towel to kind of wipe some of that back, just so that I don't like really overdo it a whole bunch and then it just looks dirty. I want it to look old but not crusty or dirty. I want it to look more antique than anything. So once I get all of that kind of pushed around, then I just want to make sure that I'm happy with the way this had turned out. I'm going to grab my DIY my DIY clear wax, and I'm going to do a coat over the whole thing. And what this is going to do, it's going to bring all those layers together. It's going to smooth out that surface. It's going to smooth out that antiquing, and it's just going to kind of meld everything together and make it look cohesive instead of kind of blotchy and stuff like that. I'm going to do about 2 good coats over this and using that just to kind of get in between. I'm not being too rough with the flowers. Once I got that covered, I'm going to grab my Renaissance Gold Gilding Wax. This is not a bright gold. It's almost like a coppery gold, more of an antique-y type gold. And I'm going to use my finger and a small brush and just highlight the frame in some place, and then also run my fingers over the leaves and the flowers there. I'm making sure that I'm not completely covering those because I want some of that gray texture and color to come through. Thank you for spending your time with me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you liked all the projects today. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please do, and share with someone that you know might like the videos that we put out. And I just appreciate you always coming back every week to watch. I hope y'all have a great week.
We can follow the moonlight till we reach a place we could stay. Maybe kiss a bit and dream away. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink